Hello, career thought leaders. It's good to see you today. And we are going to be talking about how to use tools and other things that are around us all the time to maintain your network. And I'd love to hear from you if you are working with job seekers. What do they find the most challenging in their networking? Is it making new networking connections? Is it maintaining their network? Or is it asking for help? So maybe they have connections, but they're not quite sure how to have those people help them in their job search. So go ahead and drop us a chat, whether you're joining us live or watching the recording. What do job seekers struggle with the most for you? Is it forming new connections? Is it maintaining connections? Or is it knowing how to ask for help? So we are going to be talking today specifically about tools and tips to maintain your network. And this is one thing that I've seen job seekers struggle with and even business owners struggle with. How do I maintain my network so that I'm getting consistent referrals if I'm in business, or so that as I move from job to job, position to position, I maybe don't even really have to job search very much because I already have this network of people that keeps me in their thoughts, that I can reach out to more organically when I'm job searching and I don't have to start from scratch, right? Wouldn't that be ideal for our candidates and for us that are in business if we just had these relationships and didn't have to try so hard to get the results that we want to when we're trying to make things happen? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So drop a note in the chat, say hello, and we'll look forward to hearing from you as we go through. Again, I'd love to hear if you feel people struggle more with making new connections, maintaining their network, or asking for help. So let's start with the tips, and then we'll get into some of the tools. But I'm going to do 3 A's. So as we're talking about the tips for maintaining your network, is first that it's got to be authentic. So we want to find those opportunities to connect with people that are a kindred spirit in some way, that we get along with, that we're interested in having conversations with. I think a lot of times people think of networking and they think of, drudgery and, no, don't have to maintain these relationships, but it really shouldn't feel like that. It may not be the right people for you. So you're looking for those opportunities to connect with people professionally that also, they keep you interested. They have a great conversation with you. Now, the challenge is that that doesn't always jump out of the networking event at us, or even in a corporate setting, we may not find those people right away. So some of our other tips are going to be a little bit more strategic, but we're always looking for that connection of who do I want to maintain these relationships with. So the first thing that we might want to do in that vein is that we are going to find some ways to, I would say, ask, right? You want to ask people for help for things that aren't necessarily job search related. So even if you are in active job search, you're finding ways to creatively keep people engaged and keep yourself top of mind without having it always be about job search. So there's a few of our colleagues who do this really well. Sarah Johnston, who I'm connected to on Facebook. We'll talk about tools here in just a minute, but she also does these kinds of things on LinkedIn where she asks for help with things that get a lot of people engaged. So I think the latest I saw from her was that she puts together a gift giving guide. And so she crowdsources ideas for that giving guide. One of the other things I've seen her do is crowdsource ideas for other topics she's thinking about or challenges she's having. And I just encourage you to watch people in your network, both personal and professional, who do this in a way that you might see yourself being able to do it. Now, that's kind of this very public ask, and it gets visibility and it allows a lot of people to come into that conversation. But you can also do this in a more one on one way if that's more your style. So it might be reaching out to someone you know is into this and ask them for their thoughts, their advice, their resources related to that topic. And again, this does not have to be job search related. So this does two things. One, it kind of warms up our muscles around asking for help. And two, it gives people a way to help us, which is actually and something we don't do enough is give people that opportunity to help us. So you want to find those authentic opportunities to connect and to get people's engagement in a conversation. But people do love to help. And so putting that out there and asking for help in a different way can be very helpful. So then the third thing is that once we start to get to know someone, hi, John, it's good to see you. So we were talking today about, well, I was talking about 3 A's of networking. So authenticity and asking, but this last A kind of comes first, but it just gives us a way to get to know people. So I'm going to say automate, but I'm not going to say automate in the way you might be thinking. So I'm not talking about automating messages to people, but I am talking about automating something to yourself to remind you to connect to people. And here's why. I think this is the other mistake people have about networking is they think that networking should be authentic right away or that it should come easy right away. And that kind of is the same false fairy tale we have about relationships, right? It doesn't work that way. Even if you're infatuated with someone that you meet right away, it doesn't work out like that, right? You've got to put some effort into it. And when you're networking, because we're all professional, we're networking on a different level, it's going to take a little while sometimes to figure out who are those people that you want to authentically stay in touch with. So it is okay at the beginning to put in some more strategic, scheduled effort towards that relationship. So I might, and I do this on my calendars, I've got a list of people in LinkedIn that I go and look at their LinkedIn posts on a regular basis. This gives me an opportunity to get to know them so that then I can switch into that more authentic mode. That's not just going to come right away. I'm going to meet somebody at a networking event and like the next day have these aha moments of great authentic conversations you can have with them. You're going to have to put in some maybe a little bit more awkward I don't want to say calculated, but it's going to feel a little awkward at first, and that's okay because you're just starting off the conversation. So you're looking for those opportunities to use resources you already have that you could share with them. So this is one thing my husband did before we even got married on his first job out of college. He'd had an interview with this company and he got to know the person a little bit, right? First interview. And then he started to bring by, it was kind of old school. We're not that old, but instead of email or whatever, he brought the person by an article to his office. He only did it once. Doing that more often might have felt a little creepy, but he knew enough to share an article that might be relevant to the individual, right? Something they talked about, something that would be interesting, something that was already coming into his purview anyways, because they're in the same industry and of interest, right? So this can be a lot of different things for us today. I was just thinking about one of our colleagues, Monica. She's on Facebook and we're friends on Facebook, which we'll talk about tools here in just a second. But I see her talk about the leaf blowing, the excessive leaf blowing that happens in her neighborhood. Well, then something came up and it was a funny joke, a meme about why people are so obsessed with leaf blowers. And so I sent that to her. Made her laugh, right? It showed that we're connected, we're paying attention, we're having a conversation. Has nothing to do with the professional side of things, but it keeps us engaged, it keeps us in conversation. And you're going to find ways to do that with people, but you can only do that if you start paying attention to them in some fashion, somewhere that you can find those connection points, find those opportunities to start the conversation. And at first, that is going to have to be more automated or scheduled so that hey, I've got to go out and look at this person's LinkedIn post or look at their Facebook or whatever opportunity you have to connect with them, maybe an in-person networking event that they usually go to. It gives you that opportunity to start building the relationship and looking for those nuggets that you can build that authentic conversation out of. All right, so we got authenticity, but again, that might not feel that way right away, and that's okay. the ask so that we can engage people in conversation and helping us and giving us information, giving us advice. But again, it does not have to be work related once you start to see some of those other areas, or even if you're just going to throw out kind of a more general ask and see who in your network wants to join in that conversation with you. And then you've got the automate piece, not automated messages, but automation for yourself to remember and remind and stay in touch with people. So let's talk about some tools that can help you do that. First one, obvious one, is social media. The whole point of social media is to give us an opportunity to keep these relationships going, but we have to use it well. I always joke to myself, and I joke with Kimberly Spate, the co-teacher of the Certified Hidden Job Market, that I have to remind myself that if I was at a networking event or if I was at a conference and Kimberly told me a great story about her family, like I wouldn't just hit her on the shoulder and say, "Oh, I like that," and then walk away. But that's what's so tempting on LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever, is just to hit that like button and walk away. But that doesn't maintain or keep or build relationships, right? It falls into the ether of 30 other people that hit like on that post. Where if you comment and you start the conversation, or you keep the conversation going, or even just the, congratulations, happy anniversary, those types of things, those keep the relationship going. And then you want to have deeper conversations in comments or in messaging on those tools as well. But if you're not using the tools to maintain relationships, they're not going to maintain the relationships for you just because you happen to show up and hit like. To kind of think about that as a networking event, right? Being on LinkedIn is like going to the networking event, but not talking to anybody. Being there and just hitting like every once in a while is like maybe giving the head nod or whatever to people around the event, but you're not really talking to them. You've got to engage in the conversation for it to matter. And the tool makes it easy. It makes this virtual networking event possible, but you still have to engage in the conversation or it doesn't matter. But it's a great way to maintain relationships with people. And doing it on personal platform like Facebook or Instagram, in addition to a platform like LinkedIn, is really helpful. Now, here's a little pro tip for this thing, is that every single one of these tools gives you the opportunity to build lists. So in LinkedIn, you can build custom searches by searching by post and then add in the by member, and you will have a list of people whose posts you see on a regular basis. I have a video for that. If you're interested in it, drop me a note because I go through it. I've gone through it a couple of times, so I won't go through it again. But that the tool will help you create a list. Facebook, you can actually create lists, custom lists of friends, and then you could go through that list. You can't build a feed, I don't think, unfortunately, but you can build custom lists of friends in Facebook, and you can actually control what each list sees. So if I have a list of people that I'm acquaintances with, but I don't really want them to see all my kid stuff, I can post that just to my friends, but not acquaintances. And then I can post other things that everyone sees or the public sees. So there's a lot of control there actually in Facebook, but you can also create lists to help you keep in touch with people. And then I know not many people using X anymore, but it was a great feature of X that you can create lists there and really easily have those custom feeds there to keep in touch with people. So if your audience is there in tech field, PR, news, some of those types of people are still there, there is an awesome feature to create lists. Or you could use the lists in X to source content, articles, those types of things that you could share with your audience to keep building those authentic relationships. So those are just a few ways you might use social media. I'd love to hear what ways and tools you're using as well. So if you've got ideas, go ahead and drop them in the chat there. And we did start our Certified Hidden Job Market class today. But if you're interested in getting that process for how we help job seekers do this and maintain their network in a strategic yet authentic way, you can go and check out our career transition, or not, sorry, that's the next one, our Certified Hidden Job Market Coach program that is coming up, or that just started today. And you can jump in and join us. So Certified Hidden Job Market Coach program. All right, last one. What We got two tools left. Two tools left. So the next tool is your email. And your email plus your calendar combined can be just all you need, right? So in your calendar, calendar that follow up with people. So I calendar the LinkedIn conversations. I put those in my calendar and it pops up and it says, hey, go to this link and then stay in touch with these people right there in LinkedIn. You could calendar your messages to people. You could calendar meetings that you're wanting to have, obviously, but you can use your calendar to do a lot. You can set repeat events. So that's how my LinkedIn messages are set up, that every 3 days a link pops up for me to stay in touch with these people. Then I don't have to think about it. I don't have to trust LinkedIn's bell, which is horrific. It doesn't do anything for you. I'm getting that list into my email to follow up with every 3 days. Now, one of the other features that I use in Google, and I'm not sure if the same feature exists in Outlook, but I'd love for you to drop it if you use it, is called Boomerang. Now, Boomerang will send a message back to your email whenever you want it to schedule it. So I use it a lot for follow-up for prospects. So someone says they were interested in a course, I set their message to Boomerang back to me in a couple weeks, and I follow up with them and see if they're interested. Obviously, we also put them on our list in a CRM. But if you or your job seekers don't have a CRM yet, Boomerang, so it's like a boomerang, right? Boomerang is a great tool in Gmail, and it's not that expensive at the paid level, and it actually will do quite a bit for free. So that's one of those tools where you can have a message come back to you, or you send yourself a message to follow up with people if the calendaring piece doesn't work for you. So once you've used a system like that and you've used it kind of effectively, then you might move into one of the customer relationship management tools. So we have gone through a whole bunch of them. I would love to hear if any of you use any of these, and some of the ones that people talk about for free, like Monday, or you could even use something like ClickUp, a project management type of tool for this. And ClickUp has all of these tutorials for how you can use it as a CRM in addition to project management. People use Asana or Trello. There's a lot of opportunities to use these types of tools for free. And the whole point is that it can do the reminders, it can send you messages, it can help you have that consistency of staying in touch with people. And the whole point and the whole goal is that we might do that for a little bit, and then we get into a regular rhythm, or we get enough knowledge about this person that it's more organic, that, hey, I see something and I'm thinking about them, and now I can send them that information. That's what we're looking for. And it doesn't have to be huge, right? We're not talking about hundreds and hundreds of people. This might be a core group of 10 to 20 people for you and your job seekers who are, they're the best of the best. They're people you want to hang out with, they're people you have conversations with, and they're people who are in your industry, in your groups that you want to get connected with. So they are a strategic choice and an authentic choice to maintain these relationships with. And your clients likely already have some of them. It's just putting that into more of a system, and then finding a few more people that they might want to add to that list. And the same is true for you in your business. You already have some of them. Maybe we need to now work on the ask part, but you already have that maintained relationships. And now we just need to figure out how to grow it, what like gaps you might have. So if you're thinking about, hey, I might get referrals from recruiters and from my past clients and from other coaches or resume writers, where are those gaps, and how can you be more strategic in finding some people that then you can have those authentic relationships with? And the same thing for our job seekers. Where are those gaps? Maybe all they know is engineers. That's going to make it hard to get some of those referrals into roles. So maybe we need to say, okay, what about the salespeople you've worked with? Or what about the technicians you've worked with? Or how could we have your network have a little bit more shape so that you have that opportunity to connect to more people? And then we start looking for opportunities to build those relationships inside those gaps. So I hope that's helpful. Three A's and three tools for your networking. Go out there and find those authentic people. Don't forget to ask for help and automate your schedule so that you're staying in touch. Use social media as a tool, right? That's what it's for, but it won't do it unless you use it as a tool. And you can use your email. Probably there's a lot of functionality that you already have in tech and systems. You don't need to go out there and get a new one. And then once you're maximizing that, to move into something that's a little bit more structured, like a ClickUp or a customer relationship management system, a CRM. So, yes, John, I don't remember what link we were talking about. Maybe you were talking about the CHDAMC, but I can put that in the link is in the links as well. So, Kimberly Spate and I, we have a great time today. We were just starting off with our data around why we teach the hidden job market. It has nothing to do with the positions that are posted or not, and everything to do with how jobs actually get hired. And so that's what we teach. Thank you, everyone, for joining and sharing your comments. And I will look forward to seeing you next Tuesday on the Now, the New, and the Next in Careers. Thank you, everyone.